I started this year using Evernote with conferring with my students. And so when I meet with each student, I take my iPad and that's where I take all my notes at. So instead of writing on a piece of paper or typing them like in a document, all of my notes are in one place, which is on Evernote, the app. The things that I really like about it is that it's all in one place, so I don't have to think about having it in different places. It is efficient, so it's fast. When I meet with a kid, they don't have to wait for me to get things, loaded on my iPad. It's just a couple clicks and it's up and ready to go. Another benefit of Evernote, the app that I really like, is that I can set a reminder. And so it gives me a list of students for me to meet with that day, or like the kids that need that meeting again tomorrow, and I don't have to remember that or write it down. When I was teaching 5th grade in Oline, I did like the paper pencil cafe, whatever they call that big binder. And then I came here, and as the developmental reading teacher, I was not going to haul a big binder around to 7 classrooms. So I actually bought the sisters' online version of their pensive or notebook, and that I loved that. And the parts of that I liked were, the list of students, you could build a calendar of who you needed. Everything was in one place. It was on your iPad, so it was simple. You could carry it around. You didn't ever have to worry about your notes getting deleted. It wasn't glitchy. So I really liked that part, but it was kind of expensive. And so this year, then I went from that, and I took the components that I loved from that and tried to find an app that would best fit those, and Evernote worked for that. After you get logged into Evernote, this is what your iPad screen, if you're working on the app on your iPad, should look like. One of the first things I'm going to do is show you how to create a new notebook. I have shared my conferring notes with Katie, and so what I did is I created a template, which is the sheet here that I use with every single student, and all I have to do is make a copy of it each time I meet with them, and then it's all ready to go. So I've shared that with Katie, so you don't have to recreate it. If you want to change some things on it, you are definitely able to do that after she shares it with you. The first step that we're going to do is to create a new notebook. So we're going to go to this plus, and oops, just kidding. We're going to go back to our elephant, and we're going to go to notebooks, and we're going to go to new notebook. So you're just going to give your new notebook a name, which I'm going to name mine Student A, and it doesn't have any notes in it. And then I'm going to go back to my elephant, create a new notebook, Student B. So I would do that for all of your students in your class. Every time you want to go back to this sidebar, you hit the elephant up in the left-hand corner. And then new notebook, Student C. And then if you want to go back to your elephant, you can click back again, and I can go to my notebooks, and here are my students, but my recent notebooks as well. And you can see there's no notes in them because we haven't put them there yet. All right, now we're going to create a note into each one of your students' notebooks. So I'm going to go to Student C because they're first. I'm going to click this plus button up in the right-hand corner, and I'm going to add a new note. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the template, which I already did. I just selected all of it, and then I'm just going to paste it into the student's note. You can title this note, you can title it template. This is just the note that you're going to duplicate every time you meet with the student, and so you want it something so that you know to not make a copy of or write on this particular one. So then I'm just going to click save, and if I go back to my elephant and refresh, it should say that that student has one note. So that's another reason why I love Evernote, because I can see how many times I've conferred with students for the trimester or for the year, however you want to do it. You can delete the notes after the trimester, and then you can see, okay, I've met with that student 6 times this trimester, or only 3 times, or that student's only been met with once. I need to meet with them. So once you have that template note created, put that in every student's folder. All right, now I'm going to show you how to, or what it looks like when I meet with a student. So I just have my iPad. When I go around the room, they're reading, I sit down with them and I'm going to meet with student C. So when I get onto the app, this is what it looks like. For me, it's easier to go to notebooks and go to that student's name, student C. Now I have my template in there. I'm not going to write on that copy. So I'm actually going to click on template when I sit down with a student. I'm going to hit those 3 dots on the right hand side. I'm going to click duplicate. Now it's going to make a copy of the template, and it's always going to pop up with the option to change the title. For me, it makes sense to put the title as the date that I'm meeting with the student, because then I can go back and I have the date. And then I talk and have my conference with the student, and I say, what book are you reading? Tell me about it. What page number are you on? These are check boxes. So if the student's working on fluency, all I have to do is click on that box and it checks fluency. And then I can write the strategies and my observations. So, this student is working on, we're going to change this to comprehension. And more than one box can be checked. So right now this student is working on rereading and checking for understanding. So I can type that in there, and then as they're talking about their book or reading out loud, whatever my observations are, I can just type in right here in this section. So, student C does not notice errors in reading aloud, continues to read on, or whatever that you observe. And I can usually talk to the students and type at the same time, and then I'd write their task. What are they working on? Are they, whisper reading? Are they doing fluency passages with a partner? And then what do I want them to do next? And then we have a 3-2-1 system built in. So, in this conference, if I had to give them a 3, 2, or 1, what would it be? And the student is still working, not quite there yet. So we're going to give student C a 2. So those would be my notes, and then all I'd have to do is click done, and then that note is in that student's notebook. Now, let's say I need to remember that I need to meet with the student in 2 days from now. So another part of the paid Cafe Pensive that I loved was that I could set reminders and make a calendar of when I was meeting with students. And you can kind of do that on Evernote as well. So this alarm clock here on the left-hand corner, if I click on that alarm clock, I can set a reminder. So I have no reminders in Student C, but I can create a reminder. And so if I go to the note that I just created for today, I can add that as a reminder and click notify me. And I can choose, okay, you know what, I need to meet with this kid on Tuesday, and my reading time is 1 p.m. And so now that it's green, there's a dark or filled in green alarm clock. So that tells me that I have a reminder set. So when I go back to when I log into Evernote, I can click reminders. Oops. Okay, so I want to know it's the next day. I need to know who I set reminders for, who I need to meet with today, and then who I can go on to meet with. So I'm at my home screen. This is kind of what it looks like when I log on. I'm gonna go to Notes, and I'm gonna see that, yesterday I set a note for today at 12:45. So I can see that it's there. I can also look and see that this alarm clock has a 1 next to it. So if I click that, I can see, okay, student C needs to meet with me today at 12:45. And then I can click on that and it will take me to that note and take me back to where I left off. And if there was multiple, they'd all be listed there. So again, we got there from the home screen going to notes, and then however many reminders you have set will be the number next to your alarm clock. The other thing is at 12:45, a little like pop-up note will come onto my screen and say, you need to, this is a reminder, student C. And so that's another really good thing. If you set it during your reading round, then it can remind you and it just pops up onto your iPad. Another part of Evernote that I really liked that was something that I wanted from the paid part of the Cafe Pensive was the ability to share. When I was the developmental reading teacher, that was super important that I shared my conferring notes or my notes with my students that I was meeting with their homeroom teacher. And you can also do that on Evernote. So if you go to notebooks, if you want to share a whole notebook, you can do that. If you want to share just one note out of the notebook, you can do that. So if we go to student C and I want to share, let's see, if I want to share this student's notebook, I am going to, oops, not that. This square with the arrow coming into it, I'm going to share. And all I have to do is put in the person's email that I want to share it with, and I'm sharing the whole notebook. And I can tell that because it says Share Notebook Student C. And there's my reminder for at 12:45. So I can click View Note so I can see who student it is, or I can click Dismiss. So I'm going to cancel. If I want to just share this note, I'm going to click on it. Same box with the arrow coming into it. I'm going to click Share, and then it says Share Note. So instead of notebook, I'm just sharing this one particular note with someone else. And I can say that I've done this. I re-met with that student. I took care of what I needed to do, so that reminder is done. The other thing is you can add pictures and attachments to your conferring notes if you'd like, and you can write. So if you're not a typer and you want to write on notes, you can do that. You just can't do that on the template. And then the last one is the microphone. If you want to talk and add that to your note, you can do that as well.